book has a couple of American chapters, a brilliant one by Jonathan Clark on the American Revolution. And I wrote a What If Britain Stayed Out of 1914, Stayed Out of World War One essay. There's a kind of challenge when you're doing counterfactual history, and that is to pick the plausible counterfactual. And that means that you can't, or at least it's not worth, in my view, asking counterfactual questions that have no real plausibility or had no plausibility to contemporaries. So we did one assassination counterfactual in the book, and that was Kennedy. And Dan Koons wrote a What If Kennedy Had Not Been Assassinated chapter. And that's a legitimate counterfactual, as is the Lincoln one, because, of course, it was a surprise to people when he was assassinated. And most people were assuming that he was going to live and indeed run for re-election. I make it a clear and explicit rule in the introduction that you can only, as an historian, consider counterfactuals that contemporaries themselves considered. And that's kind of necessary because methodologically, you need some evidence to build your counterfactual. You need to know what contemporaries thought would happen if Kennedy had served a second term. And you need to have some sense of what contemporaries thought the war would be like if Britain didn't intervene. So I think it's a good rule. I mean, you can do counterfactuals like, well, what if they hadn't had any railways in the United States? I first came to counterfactual history as an economic historian because there were these counterfactual essays that were being done by economic historians trying to calculate what contribution to GDP railroads made, to give just one example. And I remember plowing through this stuff as an undergraduate thinking, how useful is this? I mean, do we really need to imagine an America without railroads? Wasn't something that contemporaries spent a lot of time thinking about. So I prefer the ones that had a real significance to contemporaries, because in the end, the historian's really trying to reconstitute past thought. That's really what we do. And for me, the most important thing to convey to students and to readers is that what happened was not the high probability scenario always. Quite often, what happened was not something that people attached high probability to ex ante. They were expecting other outcomes. But because we know what happened, we have a tendency to dismiss those other scenarios that were very alive to contemporaries. I mean, contemporaries did not know in July of 1914 that Britain was going to enter a continental war and turn it into a world war. And they didn't know, to take another example, in 1941, that the Axis powers would lose World War II. It's that uncertainty about the future that often gets lost in mediocre historical writing. Whereas I've always been alive to it. I've always felt that one needs to give the reader a sense of the uncertainty of the human condition at any point in time. We don't know the future. We're going to talk a bit about impending political events, but nobody knows what's actually going to happen on November the 3rd. And so the counterfactuals are alive today. What would a second Trump term look like? What does a Biden presidency look like? These are scenarios we have to attach relatively high probabilities to. And then there are these other scenarios. What if the whole thing goes completely to hell because there's no clear result and the whole country descends into some kind of chaos? That too is a non-zero probability, though I think it's still quite low. But in future, we'll know what happened. And then people will write history. They'll be strongly inclined to write it as if that outcome was the likely one. But often it isn't.